Hey everybody, KC here. So yesterday, around the same time as the news broke that the FTC was suing to block Kroger's acquisition of Albertsons, there was another story that broke. This one in the New York Times, and I don't know. To me, this story just seems a lot more consequential as to whether two enormous retailers are going to be able to combine and become even more enormous. Consequential in terms of, I don't know, the human potential, I suppose. The story is about how a 93-year-old widow of a Wall Street financier has donated $1 billion, that's 1 billion with a B, to a Bronx medical school, the Albert Einstein College of Medicine, with instructions that the gift be used to cover tuition for all students going forward. $1 billion to pay for anybody who wants to go to medical school to go to medical school. The donor, Dr. Ruth Gottesman, is a former professor at Einstein, where she studied learning disabilities, developed a screening test, and ran literacy programs. The Times says that it's one of the largest charitable donations to an educational institution in the United States, and most likely the largest to a medical school. The fortune came from her late husband, David Gottesman, known as Sandy, who was a protege of Warren Buffett and made an early investment in Berkshire Hathaway, the conglomerate that Mr. Buffett built. Basically, when he died a little over a year ago, he gave his wife $1 billion. She didn't even know there was $1 billion there. And suddenly, his only instructions were do something good with it. And basically, the Times writes that the donation is notable not just for its staggering size, but also because it's going to a medical institution in the Bronx, the city's poorest borough. The Bronx has a high rate of premature deaths and ranks as the unhealthiest county in New York. Over the past generation, a number of billionaires have given hundreds of millions of dollars to better known medical schools and hospitals in Manhattan, which is the city's wealthiest borough. Dr. Gottesman said that her donation would enable new doctors to begin their careers without medical school debt, which often exceeds $200,000. And she also hoped that it would diversify the student body to include people who could not otherwise afford to go to medical school. Basically, tuition at this medical school is more than $59,000 a year, and many of the students that go there, they graduate with crushing student debt. According to the school, nearly 50% of its students owed more than $200,000 when they graduated. And at most New York City medical schools, less than 25% of new doctors owed that much. In other words, the people who were going to this medical school were less financially capable of putting themselves through school, which is why they had so much debt. And what she is doing is extraordinary in terms of saying, now you get to go to school and you can worry about how to become a great doctor, not how you're going to pay off your student loans. And at the end of the day, this is a really great story. I'll include a link because it's a really interesting story to how it got to this point. But to me, this is not just a good news story. This is a consequential story. It's about somebody seeing where there's a real need, and lucky for her and lucky for the students who will go to that school, being in a position to do something about it. Just an extraordinary story, and I wanted to share it with you this morning. That's what's on my mind. And as always, I want to hear what's on your mind.